everyone, my name is Doodle, and if it weren't already clear based on the only videos public on my channel, I adore Pastra's Dreams of an Insomniac. I love the writing, the ongoing story, the world building, the monsters and their designs, the writing, the horror, themes. However, one part of this series I love very much is this dude, Alex Williams, aka the protagonist of Volume 1. This doomed by the narrative, curiosity killed the cat, absolutely radiating with gender, 6'2" Canadian they-them twink, has probably been the eye of my fixation ever since Volume 1 release. They're genuinely such a fascinating character, and at some point early on in my fixation around them, I started to wonder, hey, you know how Alex is a human? Well, what if they weren't? And thus my first Notes app concept of a VELDIGUN Alex Williams design was born. Now, originally I was just going to draw the design and leave it at that, but as of the past few months, I've gotten really into those Speedpaint commentary type videos while I draw. Just hearing people discuss the intricate thought process behind a character design and the meanings and reasonings behind everything just absolutely inspires and motivates me so much, hence my love of art books. So without further ado, let's dive into this. So what you gotta know about the premise of this design, first off, is when I say Alex as a VELDIGUN, I mean Alex as a VELDIGUN-ish. The idea is that instead of some kind of AU where they've just been a VELDIGUN all along, it's more of a transformation from their original human state into a creature that's not quite VELDIGUN, but no longer human. Something headcanon, there can only be 6. I kind of like to think of it as VELDIGUN sickness, but slightly luckier. With that half and half idea in mind, I wanted to set myself some ground rules for how to go about this character design. I wanted to make it somewhat clear that they're a VELDIGUN adjacent creature, but still have more human-y elements to them that'd be considered off from the canon VELDIGUN we've seen so far. Lucky for us, Pastor himself has already established some VELDIGUN Design 101 rules to follow. This includes striped limbs, bright color palettes, some part of their body made of black tar, and an emphasis on the color yellow, usually the eyes and teeth. I of course integrated each of these into my design, some to an extent, we'll get to that later. But I noticed one particular aspect of the main 6 that isn't quite set in stone but still caught my eye. They all have some sort of animal basis. Minus Simon, he's built different. Though they do of course lie on a sort of scale in relation to how human-y they are versus how animalistic. Characters like Jack, Klaus, and the Flock, for example, are all pretty obvious as to what animal they're based on. Meanwhile, Clyde and Winfrey are more silhouette-based. Clyde has been stated to be heavily cat-based, and Winfrey, if you can believe it, is supposed to be gorilla-based. I'd say Winfrey is definitely the more subtle out of all of them. It might just be the ram horns getting in the way for me, but at least the gorilla is a bit more apparent in actual DOAI when compared to their cartoon design. Now I absolutely love when animals are used for symbolism in character design, so with all this in mind, I decided to go for the more silhouette-based approach that Clyde takes, especially since victims of VELDIGUN sickness usually seem to stay on the human-y side of things, so a more subtle approach works as a nice middle ground for me. Now, when it came to picking an animal to base Alex's design on, I wanted to pick one that represented what I think are some of Alex's core traits. That being their driving sense of justice, their desire to help and protect people, and their balls of steel, their insane courage. A bit of research later, and I came upon the perfect candidate, a lion, which represents all 3. Fun little fact about Alex Williams. I forgot where I saw this pointed out, but both of their names have a meaning related to protection, Alex meaning defender of humankind / the people, and Williams meaning something along the lines of helmet of protection or willful protector. I don't know, I just thought it was neat to mention. Now going with the lion, I wanted 2 main features to be sort of highlighted in the silhouette, the mane and the tail. For the mane, since Alex already has pretty long hair, I figured I'd just take them out to dinner with my good friend's stylization and shape language to make it look like that diamondish made shape we all know and love. That, and also, since they're a fucked up beastly horror creature now, I like to imagine their hair just got bigger like that because turning into a fucked up horror creature kind of resulted in it getting longer and way frizzier, just really wild. I also just consider the line's main aspect one of two good excuses for me to keep the human-y hair instead of turning it into like tentacles or something. The other excuse is that it adds bonus points to the not fully Veldigun thing, since as far as we know, none of the main six have any hair. I like Alex's long curly locks, they are very pretty and very gender, and I think they deserve to keep them. Even if it is frizz to hell and back. So we got the mane down pretty nicely, but when it came to the tail... oh my god. My indecisive ass tortured itself with this one, but it was worth it because I think it turned out really cool. Okay, so at first I was a little hesitant as to whether I should incorporate the tail into this design, but I went with it anyway because I kinda didn't want to rely solely on the line's mane on the silhouette. Also, I just thought it'd be cool. That being said though, I of course didn't want it to be a plain old lion tail because I'm trying to be creative with it, damn it. So my workaround to make it a bit cooler and more monstrous was to make it so that where the signature end poof thing would be, there'd instead be a set of claws coming out near the end of a tentacle-like tail that bend inward to form the signature diamondy poof shape. I don't know how I came up with this, it just kinda came to me in a vision. But there's more, for you see, Perry the Platypus, when the claws unfold from their poof form, they reveal a hidden red eye that lies at the tip of the tail. Yes, it is functional. Again, this whole tail concept just kind of came to me in a daydream, but my god, there is just so much potential symbolism you could pack into this thing. And my ass loves symbolism. So I naturally fell in love with this design choice. I will say though, another concept I had for the tail fell a bit more in line with the subtlety theme. Since Alex's hair is wild as shit, the concept imagined them doing the bottom half of it into a small braid to better maintain it, and the braid would look kind of like a lion's tail as well. And while I am not immune to dressing up my favorite characters like Barbie dolls, the symbolism. Now I kind of finished up with the lion part of their design here, but there's still one more big unrelated aspect of this design that I really wanted to talk about, which was actually conceptualized before the whole lion thing, believe it or not. As you've all picked up so far, I adore it when symbolism and present themes are integrated into a character's design, and one prominent theme of Alex's that I really wanted to carry over from Volume 1 was silence, the voice gone unheard. My first thought was maybe to give them some kind of silence-related powers, like maybe they could control the volume around them or silence others, but it didn't quite fit the whole part of the design bit. Naturally, my next bet was to silence them instead. But how to do that? One option could be for them to take a note out of Winfrey's book and just have no mouth, which is creepy enough on its own, but the little bully in my brain just set against it because it felt guilty for doing a potential copy and paste. And it's not like that's a bad idea either at all. But again, I really wanted to be creative with it, and in this case, I also wanted it to be a bit more horrific. So, what does that leave me with? Well, like I said before, this is supposed to be a kinda human, kinda Veldigun thing. Maybe I could take inspiration from the symptoms of Veldigun sickness. Teeth growing where they shouldn't. You know, a big signature of Paster's character and art style is their long, detailed teeth. What if the rows of their teeth fuse together? It fit well with the symptom, the pre-existing Veldigun, the general body horror aspect, and the theme, since they can't really talk much with their literal teeth fused shut. I'm gonna be honest, I think this idea is really cool, and at the end of the day, this whole character design thing is for me to have fun drawing my little fucked up horror demons and going on about them to the imaginary audience. So wahoo! Don't ask me how they eat, I never thought too hard about it, so you shouldn't either, okay? Anyway, here's the part where I ramble about small stuff because I don't know how to do a transition and I like rambling. So when it came to the overall color palettes, I of course had to make green their main color because, yeah. Though I will admit, even though one of the VELDIGUN design rules was emphasis on yellow, it did actually take me a bit to settle on yellow eyes or not, mainly because I wanted to do the whole choices that break the rules of typical VELDIGUN thing. But it fits with the color palette and looks cool, so why not, you know? I also did briefly consider taking their glasses away because something transformation enhances vision, but decided against it. The glasses and the jacket stay, they're too gender to get rid of. I also contemplated whether or not I should translate the blonde hair streak into the VELDIGUN design as like a green streak, since it's not really a natural part of them. But at this point, after I've drawn them so many times, it's kind of a signature for me. Also, I just think it'd be really funny. Pretty much all of my decisions for this design are based on how cool it looks and if it makes sense to me personally. So here they are. Here is my veldi-Alex. For those of you who watched the whole way through, thank you so much for watching the whole thing. It means a lot that you listen to my deranged nerd ramblings. I like to ramble, and it's been really fun making this. Will I redesign this guy in a few months? Probably. You know how artists are with their progress. But I'm proud of what I've got now. And again, it was really fun to make it. And before I forget, assuming my ass actually scheduled her time properly with this one, come on, Fuchsia Doodle, please. Happy 1-year anniversary to Volume 1, The Foundation Archives. My god, I can't believe it's been a year already. It feels like a month ago. I really want to make sure that this video came out by, or at least around, the anniversary of Volume 1, because genuinely, Dreams of an Insomniac as a series just inspires me so much and gives me so much joy. It's such a lovely passion project series, and I can't wait to see what the future has. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Doodle, and I will see you all whenever I see you next. Bye-bye! Pastra, please, behind the scenes for DOAI when... I don't even want to see the works in progress or still images. I need to know what the hell Alex's clothes look like. I thought this was just a regular pumpkin sweater, but it's a pumpkin sweatshirt over a pumpkin sweater? What is this jacket? What color is it? What shape is it? What is this thing on the hood? What's the fur? What's the texture? What the fuck is the graphic on this t-shirt? I need to know what this t-shirt looks like. Let me in. I don't have Patreon money, please. Let me in. Let me in.